With the Mirage Passport 12, you've got some anchoring options. In addition to the integrated recess for a power pole, it can also accept Hobie's Anchor Trolley Kit. We've got two options for the Anchor Trolley Kit. One uses well nut hardware installation, and the other uses through bolt installation. The nice thing about the well nut installation is that if you haven't installed a bow hatch or a hatch at the aft end of the kayak, you can still install the cheek block pulleys and have full functionality out of your Anchor Trolley Kit. The trolley comes in handy if you're anchoring in water over 8 feet deep, or if you're using a drift chute, stakeout pole, or an anchor. Your Anchor Trolley Kit will come pre-assembled how it's going to be oriented on the boat. However, I'm going to untie one of the knots here connected to the rings and use the pulleys to create my pilot holes, and then I'm going to go ahead and fasten those to the side of the kayak. So it's just a double overhand knot here that you've got to undo. The pulley orientation should face the center of the kayak, so I'm going to go as close to the bow as I can with this one. And I'm going to mount this pulley up near the bow just above the parting line. You want the holes that you're going to create well above the water line. So I'm just going to go in with a Phillips screwdriver and make a little indentation here on the plastic. You can use a small drill bit as well. And then for the well nut installation, you'll need to create 3/8 holes for the well nuts. The through bolt installation will require a 3/16 hole, but for this one, 3/8. And the rubber on the well nut's going to press up against the surface of the kayak there and create a nice watertight seal. You've got plenty of room back here at the back of the kayak inside the hull to clear the steering rod. So as long as you don't go too deep with your drill when you're creating the mounting holes, you'll be just fine. Again, this pulley is going to face the center of the kayak. I'm just going to go right above the parting line. And the second one. Go ahead and unravel the Anchor trolley line that's bundled up there, and you can just lay that out on the ground. I'm going to actually pull that second pulley all the way through and free that up so that I can just work with only the pulley without the line in my way. Once you've created the drill holes for mounting the cheek block pulleys, you're going to go ahead and assemble the hardware onto the pulley. So notice there's a shallow end of the pulley and a deeper end of the pulley. You've got the 1-inch screw that's going to go in the shallow end. Put it through the pulley, and then the backing washer that'll help create a nice tight seal on the hole. And then just thread the well nut in just a couple turns so it's easy to press into the hole. And the deeper side's going to take the 1 3/4 inch screw, then the washer, and finally the well nut. Orient the pulley toward the center of the kayak and press those well nuts into the hole. And then with a Phillips bit and some firm pressure against the kayak, you're just going to go about 25 turns until that well nut expands all the way and creates a nice strong fasten there. And I'm going to turn the clutch down to a 4 on this Makita drill. And then I'll come back with a Phillips and make sure it's just about as tight as I want it. Super strong well nut installation there. Now we're going to move up to the bow and mount the other pulley. And the same hardware configuration on this, the long screw on the deep side with the pulley facing the center of the kayak. Press those well nuts into the hole. And again, about 25 turns until the well nut expands fully and secures the hardware into the hole. There's one. And while we're up here, let's just check the tension on these screws. That one looks great. And that one I got another quarter turn out of. So same thing back here, and I'm just checking to make sure that the installation's not too loose. On the back screw here, I got about another half a turn out of that. So we're sitting pretty with the pulleys. Now it's time to mount the lines. When you run the lines for the anchor trolley, it's important that the bungee assembly goes on the bottom trajectory. So I'm just gonna lay this out on the ground with it on the bottom. I'm gonna go from the side that's tied to the ring. And since I'm routing the line around the forward pulley first, I'm gonna go underneath the pulley and back over the top. Over the top of the second pulley at the aft end of the kayak. I'm going to pull this all taut, and it actually helps to lay the trolley line on the top of the kayak. There's a little bit of stretch in this line when you first install it, so I'm going to go ahead and pull this line just a little bit and create that stretch. And I'm going to figure out about how much line I'm going to need to tie up the assembly and add about 6 inches of working room to that. I'm going to cut it there. I'm going to go ahead and trim my trolley line here. That's about as long as I'll need it for this kayak. We do give you a little bit of extra line in case you're installing this on a Pro Angler 17 or something of that length. So you can reuse this line for something else, another project. Carefully melt the end of the trolley line to prevent fray. I'm gonna give that a second before I touch it, but I'm just gonna smash that down a little bit with a metal surface. Go ahead and tie up your trolley line. I like to put a tiny bit of stretch in the bungee and create my first overhand knot there. And then double up that overhand knot. And you can either leave a little bit of tag, or what I like to do is tie one more overhand knot on top of that double overhand, just to prevent the line from pulling through in case that ever were to happen. So we're locked in place, and I'm actually going to trim this close now and use the same technique to melt the end of the line to prevent fray. Now that we've mounted the pulleys and run the line through the pulleys, we're ready to mount these eyelet posts, which will act as guides. They'll also keep the line from coming up and interfering with the steering handle. So I've got the same assembly with the well nut. The screw is through this eyelet post, and then the washer, and then the well nut. The washer is going to help create a seal on the side of the hole. And I'm gonna mount these line guides just below and a little bit in front of and behind the carry handle, and just above the parting line to keep it above the water line. So I'm gonna put one about an inch forward of where the track ends. And I'm just gonna go in, make my 3/8 hole here. I'll create my second hole an equivalent distance behind the side carry handle. And it doesn't have to be exact, you can measure it if you like, but I'm gonna go just above the parting line with this one again. Again, with firm pressure and a light clutch, I'm gonna make about 25 turns of this screw. I fastened it most of the way with the drill, and I'm gonna tighten it up with the Phillips driver by hand. You can see the walnut rubber starting to expand, so we know we've got a nice seal on the hole. Our installation is almost complete. The last step is to mount this through-bolted eyelet post somewhere near the seat. This is gonna be your tie-off point to lock the anchor trolley either fore or aft, so you can face into the current or straight down current. This will require a 3/16 hole, and I'm gonna put mine right in this little flat above and a little bit in front of the seat clip. So be careful when you're drilling this hole. Since this eyelet post, when the trolley line's tied off to it, is gonna be under some load, I'm gonna take just a couple drops of the Loctite that's included in the Anchor Trolley Kit and spread it onto the threads of the screw before I insert it into the hole. So I'm just gonna do a couple drops of Loctite. Wow, that's some thick Loctite. A couple drops of Loctite on the threads and press that screw right in there. Come through the center hatch before that Loctite has a chance to set. And holding the screw in place from the top, I'm just gonna go stack my washer on top of the screw and thread that on. Just finger tight until I engage with the plastic part of the nylock. And you'll need a 3/8 wrench or a ratchet on the inside of the hole and a Phillips bit to tighten that down. Your anchor trolley installation is now complete. When you're ready to use the anchor trolley system, I would recommend a carabiner clipped to the anchor line. You'll pull the anchor point either all the way forward or all the way aft. And once you've got the anchor point secured, go ahead and take one wrap around this eyelet post, and that'll lock the anchor position into place. When you're ready to reset, go ahead and just grab the line by both ends, unwrap from around the cleat, and pull that trolley into place. As you're moving from one location to the other, the guidelines will keep the trolley line out of the way of the steering handle and let it rest just on the side of the boat like that. Now that your Anchor Trolley Kit is installed on your Mirage Passport 12, you're ready to achieve that perfect boat positioning in current or swell. For other complete installation videos related to the Passport 12 and much more, check out Hobie's YouTube channel or go to Hobie.com and visit the gear page.